Speed might win the short race, but stewardship, it wins the marathon. The best managers are those who excel at making the people on their team feel seen and heard. Instead of asking, what do I need to finish today? Ask, how do I want to feel when this is done? This brings emotion and intention back into your work. We live in a world obsessed with productivity. Every hour must be tracked, every metric optimized, every single minute accounted for. But here's the truth: being busy and being productive, they're not the same thing. What if the real measure of success is not how fast you move, but how deeply you grow? Today, I want to introduce a new way to think about productivity, something I call cultivation, because the goal is not actually to do more. The goal is to grow more meaningfully. I once advised an attorney who was at the height of her game to make this shift, a shift away from ticking all the boxes to cultivating what actually mattered. She was a partner in her law firm. She was the go to attorney for high profile cases, and she met her billable hours targets regularly. And she was miserable, not because she was not proud of all of her accomplishments and all of her firsts, but because she had an aha moment. After volunteering to speak at a Women in Sustainability conference, a topic that she loved, she walked away feeling inspired and like she had inspired others. She asked herself, what good is all of this work at the firm if at the end of the day, I'm not convinced of the impact I can have on women in the world? It was a good question. In short, she had identified the gap between being super busy and high performing versus producing meaningful impact. To do that, she had to shift her focus away from her addiction to busyness towards a cultivation mindset. Our current idea of productivity comes from the Industrial Revolution, the first Industrial Revolution, which was built around output, efficiency, speed, and only measuring what we see. But humans, we aren't machines. We need curiosity, reflection, and meaning. Cultivation is a totally different model. It values both measuring visible progress and also recognizing invisible growth, the kind that happens just beneath the surface. When you cultivate, you focus on impact, not just activity. You prioritize depth over speed and connection over control. So, how do we move from busyness to cultivation? Here are three simple but powerful shifts. Shift number one: move from to do lists to feel lists. Instead of asking, what do I need to finish today? Ask, how do I want to feel when this is done? This brings emotion and intention back into your work. For example, when I have a deadline to write an article that is looming before me, it has made all the difference in the world for me to envision feeling the satisfaction of hitting send and even identifying a reward at the end. For me, that would be a hot matcha latte with oat milk or a short walk around the block. This is how habits get cultivated. Shift number two: move from outputs to outcomes. Measure meaning, learning, and connection, not only volume or speed. I mean, think about it. Do you think that Albert Einstein cultivated his genius with a bunch of alarming deadlines all the time? Not completely. Great science and awesome creativity takes the time it takes in order for great ideas to have fruition. And finally, shift number three: move away from only focusing on speed to stewardship. Slow down enough to nurture people and ideas that matter. Speed might win the short race, but stewardship, it wins the marathon. The best managers are those who excel at making the people on their team feel seen and heard. How do they do that? not by cramming more work into their schedules, but by taking time to be curious about who they are and how they're doing on the specific project. This could be done in a hallway moment or over a cup of coffee. Too many managers use their first 100 days intro to a new organization as a one and done instead of periodically having a listening tour. These are not small adjustments. They're cultural shifts that redefine what success looks like. And I want to leave you with one question I often ask leaders. You ready? How do you measure meaning? Because traditional metrics like profit and productivity, they only tell part of the story. What about connection and purpose and belonging? Imagine if your organization tracked meaning as a KPI. How much more connected would people feel to the significance of their work? Could you do a before and after questionnaire or survey or conversation after a retreat or a major project that just dealt with the emotional engagement of your team? When people feel connected, they create work that lasts willingly. That's cultivation. It's not about doing more, it's about doing more of what matters. So, what if you stopped trying to move faster and instead started growing more deeply? If you're ready to move beyond busyness and lead through cultivation, download your free sample chapter of Move, Think, Rest below and visit figure8thinking.com. There you'll find tools, workshops, and insights to help your team pause productively and perform sustainably.